Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. I was just trolling through the pile of stuff over here, which is loosely alphabetical, and I came across a wonderful Debussy disc that has really one of my favorite recordings out there of the Nocturnes, Debussy's Nocturnes for Orchestra. That is Nuages, Fête, and Sirène. Clouds, parties, and sirens, not like ambulance or police sirens, as in the mythological ladies who lure men to their doom. And which performance was it? Well, it was on Eloquence, DG Eloquence from Australia, and it's this one with Claudio Abbado and the Boston Symphony Orchestra. Gorgeous, gorgeous performance. It always seems to get overlooked. Now, this is coupled with the Afternoon of a Faun and the Image with the Boston Symphony and Michael Tilson Thomas, and that I've talked about. And in fact, I've already mentioned it, I think, in this series of talks. But here's the thing about Debussy: everything he does gets coupled and recoupled and decoupled and reissued and deissued and jiggled, and because none of it's terribly long. And so when record labels are doing reissues and mixing it up, they often simply redo their Debussy stuff. And so the Abbado Nocturnes is on this disc, and it wasn't easy to find, because here's a curious thing. Abbado, for all that he was just an unbelievable micromanager as a conductor, and he was, he really was, he didn't do a lot of Debussy. He didn't. He did a very good Peleas. He did a beautiful recording of Peleas, but he wasn't known for doing Debussy. He was known for doing Ravel, but I'm really kind of surprised at that, because you would really think that Debussy would be a very, very good composer for a conductor of his particular bent, one who's into subtleties and nuances and billions of shades of pianissimo and, little fussy mannerisms. Well, I guess Debussy's not like that. He's not like that at all, or Abbado would have done more. But when he was young and fresh and less, sort of like into that kind of stuff than he later became, he did this beautiful recording with the Boston Symphony, and he made a few Boston Symphony recordings that are lovely. He did a great Scriabin Poem of Ecstasy. He did a great Daphnis and Chloe Suite Number 2. These things, of course, are boxed up somewhere, with all those Abbado boxes running around. But it was a small, slender, but very distinctive legacy. And of course, it was always a good idea to do French music with the Boston Symphony, because they were the great French music orchestra. So even if you weren't really all that good at it, they would make you sound good. Unless, of course, you were Bernard Haitink doing Ravel, in which case they sounded like hell, and so did he. But that was his fault. That was definitely his fault. We don't need to go into that. So this is an absolutely outstanding performance of the Nocturnes, and one of those real sleepers in the Abbado discography. Deutsche Grammophon, let's talk for a minute. Deutsche Grammophon had a sort of strange relationship to the Boston Symphony, because they have that wonderful legacy with Michael Tilson Thomas. They did a couple of amazing things with Raphael Kubelik, but just a couple. They did like the Schubert Unfinished with Eugen Joachim, which is amazing. I really think we need to have a Boston Symphony Miscellaneous Conductors box. Actually, there is a Boston Symphony Deutsche Grammophon box, thank God. So we have the more or less complete Boston Symphony legacy, but on DG. But it really is kind of funny. It's like everyone swooped in and made one or two recordings in Boston, and then they swooped out again. There was William Steinberg did his 3 discs worth of stuff, or 2 discs. There was Hindemith and there was Strauss. It really is kind of fascinating. And all these guys were on DG, and so DG has this really kind of interesting Boston Miscellany collection. And in that Boston Miscellany collection is this absolutely fabulous recording of Debussy's Nocturnes. It's definitely one of my favorites, and it doesn't matter how you get it. You can get it in the big Boston box. You can get it coupled to this Tilson Thomas Image, which is also on other things. In other compilations, it was once at one point it was attached to the Markevich La Mer and Debussy Danses, which is just fantastic. So there's that too. I mean, there's lots of possibilities to get this particular coupling, and however you get it, it's marvelous. But the Nocturnes were the thing, and oh, they're so beautiful, such beautiful, wonderful music. A little bit eclipsed, I think, by La Mer and the later Image, but we don't have to worry about that. We can listen to what we want. So there you go. Claudio Abbado and the Boston Symphony Orchestra doing Debussy's Nocturnes. Don't miss it. You're going to love it. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.